Well, hello students. Mr. Michalski here to just breeze through the notes to review for the upcoming test on cardiovascular and respiratory systems. So I'm just going to kind of breeze through the notes here. I'm not going to say everything because you have the notes, but I just want to refresh you on how much stuff there is, right? So the short version is the cardiovascular system is there to pump blood throughout the body, and you need blood because you need to get oxygen from the air to all your cells, and you need to get the carbon dioxide that your cells build up and get them out, and then also you need to get the nutrition and water from your digestive system to all your cells, and then all the waste products that your cells generate, you need to get them out. So the carbon dioxide you breathe out, and the waste products you pee out, right? So the main parts are, right, the heart. You're going to hear a lot of traffic noise in the background. I'm doing this outside. The main parts are the heart. It's got 4 chambers and 3 types of blood vessels. So know your 4 chambers, right? Your right atrium, your right ventricle, your left atrium, your left ventricle. Know where things are coming from, where they're going to. I'm not going to say it all right here. 3 types of blood vessels. Arteries lead blood away from the heart. Thick walls to withstand high blood pressure. They break down into smaller and smaller blood vessels, just like the twigs on a branch get smaller and smaller, into what we call capillaries. Capillaries are so small and thin-walled that oxygen and nutrients and water can pass right through them into your cells, and waste products and carbon dioxide can pass right into them from your cells. And then these regroup back into larger and larger return tubes called veins. The veins are thin-walled because they don't have that much blood pressure anymore, and they have one-way valves so that blood can only go back toward the heart and not just pool up around your feet and ankles. All right? So make sure you got all that. Let me see what else. The next thing that was in your notes was the components of blood. Blood is a liquid meant to carry oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients, waste, and it's got 4 major components. Plasma, which is the liquid part. The red blood cells, which carry oxygen to all your cells, carbon dioxide from your cells. They have an ingredient in them called hemoglobin that is an iron-based molecule, which is why your blood is red. When iron and oxygen meet, think of it, a rusty metal turns red. Hemoglobin is an iron-based molecule, which is why you need enough iron in your diet, which when we get to digestive system will become important again. Platelets are bits of white blood cells that solidify in combination with oxygen, so when you get a cut or a scrape, they form clots and you don't continue to bleed. A hemophiliac has difficulty forming platelets that do the job properly. Remember hemophilia, the genetic disease carried on the X chromosome? Well, even if you don't remember, it's there, and that's why. And then white blood cells are your germ fighters, where they actually go out seeking anything that doesn't match your DNA and destroy it. HIV/AIDS is a disease that destroys white blood cells, and therefore you can't fight any diseases. The next thing I see in the notes is blood pressure. When they take your blood pressure, they always tell you 2 numbers. Well, your blood pressure is 110/70 or 120/80 or whatever it is. It's literally the pressure in your arteries from your heartbeat. So the big number always comes first, and that's the pressure when your ventricles are contracting. And the second number is the lower number, that's in between contractions. Your blood pressure is never 0, that would be when you're dead. And then you had some notes about HIV and AIDS and how that affects you. Then we went to cardiovascular problems, all right? This is a hit parade of really rather unpleasant things. Arterial sclerosis or atherosclerosis. This is cholesterol building up in your system. If it builds up enough to block blood vessels, you get some real damage. If it blocks the tiny blood vessels that feed your heart, it could lead to a heart attack. If it bleeds the little blood vessels that lead to your brain, that leads to a stroke. High blood pressure can lead to a lot of other things. A heart attack, as I just described. Heart failure is a little different. Heart failure is when the heart has become weakened in a general way from misuse of drugs, alcohol, tobacco. Various diseases can cause a weakened heart, and if it just gets too weak to actually get the job done, that's called heart failure. When a celebrity dies from a drug-related death, frequently what they've died from is heart failure. Not too cheerful, but very important to know that. From there we go to the respiratory system. This is the system for breathing, right? Carrying oxygen from the air to all the cells in your body and getting the carbon dioxide from all your cells back into the environment, get them out of you. Two types of things called respiration. One is your breathing. We talk about your respiration increasing when you do jumping jacks or you jog. Your respiration increases. There's also cellular respiration, which is how your body actually chemically, quote unquote, burns carbohydrates to give you energy. They both get used kind of interchangeably by the public. That's because when you do exercise, your body's actually burning more carbs. It's actually cellular respiring more, and it makes you breathe more. So the public kind of puts the two words together. Doesn't matter that much. Know all the parts. The pharynx, the larynx, your voice box, the trachea, the windpipe. Know that it's made out of cartilage. Know that it's there for a reason. Then it splits into the two tubes, the bronchi, which break into bronchioles, which lead to alveoli. The alveoli are surrounded by capillaries. You know, the diaphragm's the breathing muscle. The pleura is a thick, leathery covering that covers each lung on the inside to protect you from damage and germs. Be aware of all those parts. What else can I say about that? And finally, before it starts raining on me in earnest, diseases of the respiratory system, right? You just had quiz with this information. Know the difference between airway diseases, which affect the tubes that bring air in and out. Some of them are rather obvious, like asthma and stuff like that, bronchitis. Then lung tissue diseases, things like cancer and asbestosis and emphysema that are affecting the cells in the lungs. Okay, I'm not going to go over them all again. You've got notes for this. There's asthma, bronchitis, acute bronchitis, which is short-term, and chronic, which is like a long-term thing. It doesn't go away. Emphysema, smoker's disease, asbestosis, an occupational disease from working with a dangerous chemical called asbestos, used to be used for insulation. Lung cancer, most common cause is cigarette smoking. Pneumonia, some of you have had pneumonia, it's not a joke. You've had the flu as well. Tuberculosis, otherwise known as TB. You probably will never get tuberculosis because most of you have had a vaccine as children. COPD, which is a cumulative thing. And then, of course, the COVID-19. And what can I say about that you haven't already heard, right? Review your stuff. It's a test. I think it's Wednesday. And I'll see you when I see you.